We are live. All right, we're going to have Brian start the meeting as vice chair. He'll run it until we elect a new chair.
All right, this is the school board meeting for the organizational meeting, Bold Schools Independent School District number 2534, Monday, January 9th, 2023 at 7 p.m. at the district office in Olivia. The mission statement for Bold Schools is the mission of the Bold School District is to provide all learners in the Bold community an education designed to develop their creativity, character, and confidence and skills essential to flourish in a changing global society. So we'll call this meeting to order. First of all, we'll have to have a approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Second, Benson.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? With none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All approved or all against? Motion passes.
Let's shoot back up to the Pledge of Allegiance.
Oh, didn't even see
Oh,
that.
I think so.
That's all right.
Oh, it's underlined.
It's okay.
That's title. Sorry, everybody.
That's all right.
We're good.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'd like to recognize any visitors we have to the board meeting. Thanks for coming out tonight. Hope we all learned something. Next, we have agenda item number 4, the welcome and acceptance of office and oath of office for elected board member Sandy Benson, who is returning, Todd Frank and Ellie Johnson, who are joining. Excellent. Elected board members will be individually asked to publicly affirm their acceptance of office as well as their commitment to the oath of office. So, Sandy, would you like to go first?
Just read this or what?
I believe so.
I hereby accept the office of school board member of the Independent School District number 2534 for a term beginning the first Monday in January 26th and expiring the first Monday in January 27th.
Sounds good.
I hereby accept the office of school board member of Independent School District number 2534 for a term beginning the first Monday in January 2023 and expiring the first Monday in January 2027.
I hereby accept the office of school board member of Independent School District number 2534 for a term beginning the first Monday in January 2023 and expiring the first Monday in January of 2027.
Oh, here's the oath.
Oh, so maybe we just all put our hand up and
Yeah,
read it?
do that.
We can all read it together.
Sure.
I swear
Swear that I will
that I will
support the Constitution of the United States and this state, and that I will discharge faithfully the duties of the office of school board member of Independent School District number 2534 to the best of my judgment and ability.
All right, I think we should clap. That was a lot of work.
Congratulations. Now we're going to go to agenda item number 5, which is the election of school board officers. This runs from January of 2023 to December of 2023. So the first one up is chairperson, correct?
I'd like to nominate Brian for chair. I just think he has a lot of school board experience, good leadership roles. I think he works well with everybody.
Any others?
I'd like to nominate Todd Frank.
Excellent. Are there any other nominations? right. Here's what I want to say about chairperson, because I've thought about this just a little bit. I don't necessarily want to be the chairperson or have to be the chairperson. I think Todd would be great as the chairperson. I don't have any doubts about that. It's his first year. I guess that would be my only drawback on it. I think we have a huge year ahead of us to get this referendum passed and to get things going. I think one of the biggest things we have to do as our board is we have to come together as a board. So that being said, I don't think our chairperson should be elected on a split vote. I think we all have to be on the same team. So that being said, if we're gonna have a vote, and we're gonna be split, I would rather just not be nominated and have Todd be nominated completely. But I'm just saying on my side, I say the only thing that I have different is that I've been here for 6 years, so I've seen the stuff that happens, not just in the meeting, but behind the meetings.
Well, I guess I understand that. I get that. The only reason I was thinking Todd is because I know he's got a lot of experience with being a chair, having that experience, knowing what to do, when to do, how to do it. He's sat in quite a few of our meetings. I think he already has the knowledge of what's going on here. And I guess I just felt like he was a good fit.
No, I'm not against Todd. I just don't want us to battle anything. I think as a board, we have to become a group. We got to be like rock solid. We can't be splitting on everything.
I will just mention the responsibilities of the chair are to run a meeting, not bias the decisions. The chair should never be putting forth a motion, should never be seconding a motion. The chair only votes when there happens to be a split and a decision needs to be made. Otherwise, the chair typically does not vote, even though you have the right to vote, because you're not altering a decision. So I'm just mentioning what the role of a chair is.
Okay.
And
I'm excited to have Todd around just because he knows it.
Right.
Mhm.
That's
Oh,
fine.
absolutely.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
whether
saying,
it's
his
as
knowledge
the
is
chair or
very-
just being on the
So
board,
that's
it's
what I'm
going to
saying.
be
As far
very
as
helpful.
Robert's rules go, the man for the job. My only thing is I've sat in on negotiations. I've done those things. But I'm absolutely fine. If it's going to be a split vote, I'm absolutely fine with just not running at all. We got to be, everybody say aye for one person. So if you really want to do this and you really want to take it, I'm good with it. But I think we should all do it together. I think we got to be solid.
Well, how about Todd being vice chair?
Would you be willing to do chair or would you?
I'm willing to do chair or vice chair.
You would rather be chair?
I think I would rather be chair.
All right. Well, I'm going to withdraw my name then for chair. Is there any other nominations? All right, hearing none, let's vote. We don't have to vote, do we?
Yeah, you do.
Do we vote?
Yeah, we still gotta go through it.
We just write down?
We
I
do have
think
ballots,
we
but
can do a show of
do you
hands
think?
too.
Why don't we do a show of hands here? And
Does that work for everybody?
Yeah.
Would you rather write it? I see some wrinkled eyebrows over here. How would you like to do
Well,
this?
I don't know why we're changing it now. We always just voted before verbally, and I don't know why that's a big deal.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. All in favor of Todd Frank being the chair, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion passes.
all right, Todd Frank, come on down.
Hey, Michael.
You did a nice job running the meeting. Guess they give you brain tags too. Okay, we'll move on to nominations for vice chair. Are there nominations for vice chair?
I'd like to nominate Brian Bowen for the vice chair.
Brian's been nominated. Are there any other nominations for vice chair? Is there a motion to close nominations? Cast a unanimous ballot. Sandy, a motion to
Close.
close nominations and cast a unanimous ballot. Okay, is there a second?
A second.
Bucktel seconded the motion. So the motion on the table is Brian Bowen for vice chair. We'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Brian, congratulations, you're vice chair. You'll do a good job.
Well, thanks, Todd.
He's got some experience with that.
Okay, nominations are now open for clerk.
I'll nominate Tracy to do it again.
Any other nominations for clerk? Is there a motion to close nominations and seek a unanimous ballot for Tracy Bucktel as clerk?
Yes.
I'll make the motion.
Okay,
I'll second.
Brian, okay. It's been moved and seconded to nominate Tracy Bucktel as clerk with the unanimous ballot. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Tracy, congratulations on being clerk. And then our fourth office, treasurer. Are there nominations for treasurer?
I'll make the motion for Sandy.
Any other nominations for treasurer? Okay, hearing none, is there a motion to close nominations and cast a unanimous ballot for Sandy?
I make that motion.
I'll second.
And second, okay. Motion has been made and seconded to cease nominations and cast a unanimous ballot for Sandy Benson. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. So congratulations, Sandy. Okay, the next item on the agenda is consent items. So we need an action on this. And it would be adopt electric fund transfer resolution.
I'll make the motion.
A second.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved by Bowen and seconded by Sheehan to adopt the consent items.
Todd, let me ask you a question here.
Yes.
And I don't know, I didn't notice this until now. The consent item is a resolution, so I think we do need to read that.
There was no resolution listed on front here, so I will go to that. Okay,
Sorry about that.
I will fill in because I know who will be the primary. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. Okay. So Member Bowen moved the following resolution. A resolution delegating authority to make electronic fund transfers to a designated business administrator. Whereas Minnesota statute section 471.38 claims authorize school districts to use electronic transfers of checks, drafts, or similar negotiable instruments. Now, therefore, be it resolved as follows. The school board hereby delegates the authority to the following school business administrators to make electronic fund transfers for the period January 1st, 2023 through December 31st, 2023. Amy Schmidt, Assistant Business Manager, dated January 9th, 2023, and James Menton, Superintendent, dated January 9th, 2023. It is hereby certified that the Rhode Island Olivia Lake William Public School duly adopted this resolution at a duly convened meeting held on January 9th, 2023,
Member Sheehan seconded the motion to approve the resolution, and upon a vote being taken therein, the following voted in favor. So we'll now vote. Member Bucktoll?
Aye.
Aye. Member Johnson?
Aye.
Member Bowen?
Aye.
Member Benson?
Aye.
Member Jacobs?
Aye.
And Member Sheehan?
Aye.
And you have to realize I called them by their first name, so it's a change of
That's okay.
protocol for me. So no votes in opposition and no one was absent, and the resolution was declared adopted on today, the 1st of January, 2023.
Nice.
Okay. Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, we look at these over and over, and then it's always amazing the stuff that we don't necessarily see right away. All right.
Okay, so moving on to our item number 7, superintendent report. Jim, go ahead.
Yeah, so just a reminder that we've got our conference coming up on Wednesday. I'm already changing plans that I made for Wednesday night because I completely forgot about the conference. So, yeah, Wednesday will be going up unless you want to come up early in the morning, but we do have a room reserved for each one of you, except for you, Todd, you're not going to go. And we're going to look at maybe some dinner plans for Wednesday night. And then it's a good conference the next day. And
That's good.
Do we have any plans for Thursday night?
Yes, I'll talk to you later.
Well, how about the rest of us?
Plans in the works.
Just so you know.
Wow. Okay.
I do have an idea. It's somebody has offered something for us. And
That's
I
fine.
don't know that they want it.
No, that's fine.
All right.
We're good. Just wondering, because we usually do like
Yeah.
that Thursday.
Okay, anything else, Jim, for us?
No.
Can I say something quick? For the new people, you got this in the mail, and this tells everything at the conference. This is a really good book to go through to find out what you want to do when you get down there.
We'll bring it.
So-
Bring it with you.
And well, it is
I didn't know that
online.
last
There's
year.
an app.
It is
There's an
online.
app
There's an
too
app.
that's
Yes.
kind of
And
helpful.
you can get it on your phone. It's an app. So just,
But I didn't bring that last year, and I really wish that I had.
Yeah.
And I'm the tech guy, so I wanted some paper there.
and you got both set up for phase 1 and 2. Okay,
Mhm.
good.
Yes.
Mm.
Well, I remember it was very informational. I really enjoyed it. Actually, I think I did it twice. First time is like, okay, there's so much information. And the second year you did it, and it's, oh, now I get it. I understand it. So,
That's good.
So we're going tomorrow. So we're gonna, yes.
See phase 1 tomorrow and
Yes.
phase 2.
For phase
All day,
one,
one
phase two, yes.
We'll be ready to hang out.
All right, we ready to move on to the business items under 8? So the first one would be setting our school board meeting dates. So the meeting dates, and we need an action on this, would be typically the 4th Monday of each month at 7 p.m., except for December, which would be the 3rd Monday, and which is December 18th, 2023.
so move Benson.
Okay, second?
Jacobs? Sorry.
Okay, so it's been moved and seconded to hold our school board meetings on the 4th Monday of each month at 7 p.m., except for December, which will be on the 3rd Monday, which on December 18th. And the meetings will all be here in the district office. Any more discussion? Okay, no discussion. We'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion carries. Second item, establish board compensation for attending board members. So the compensation typically would be from January 1st, 2023 through December 31st of 2023 $50 per board member per regular and special board meetings, and $50 for half-day, and $100 for full-day negotiations meetings, and then $100 for all-day seminars. Compensation will not be paid for meet and confer meetings, policy review meetings, and interviews, etc. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion. Hochul.
A second?
I'll second it.
It has been moved and seconded to establish the board compensation as previously mentioned. Is there any discussion? Okay, hearing none, we will move to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Compensation is set as described previously. Third item, approve the 2023 standard IRS mileage rate of 65.5 cents per mile effective January 1st, 2023.
So moved.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to approve the 2023 standard IRS mileage rate at 65.5 cents per mile effective January 1st, 2023. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. D on the agenda. Appoint school board representatives and committees. So look under your enclosure number 2, and we have quite a few committees to get everyone onto. So,
And I mentioned in an email, I think a lot of these just never really meet. So I think some of them obviously facilities, finance, meet and confer, negotiations. Those we obviously need, but I think we've left a lot of these blank last year. I think a lot of them we can do the same this year. I don't think we need to have a name in every spot. I don't think any of the others met at all.
The highlighted ones were the ones that we filled last year.
The
That
book
we
review,
filled.
the book review too was filled.
yeah.
It was filled, but they've never
There was no meetings.
met as.
I was the only one on it.
Yeah, and as long as I've been here, that was my 7th year here. I've never seen
I do have a report on that
some
though.
of these.
That wasn't, I have a report for that book review too, just FYI.
Well, should we not appoint somebody to like this, like the Ag Advisory Committee?
I actually thought you were on that.
I thought you were on that. Ag Advi, or not,
I
not.
couldn't have been.
No, but you were on the, like the Ag,
I
you were
was.
on, not through the school board, but
Correct, as a citizen,
On a
I was
citizen, yeah.
previously, and I believe there's a bylaw that you need to have an ag advisory committee for an FFA program in a district.
Yeah, we met. I was on that.
Well, yeah, and that's why I think Todd
Yep.
was on that.
We
So,
met with it.
you know,
Well, she said the ones that are highlighted are ones that we had people on.
oh, just the name isn't on there.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
All right.
So
That's just-
I'm thinking we go through and seek volunteers. I think we're limited to X number of board members on a given committee. Is that correct?
Yes.
Right.
3 is generally what we stick with because you wouldn't have to run it as an open meeting, but we've been doing that for all of them.
So
what
Up
they
to
usually
3.
do- Oh, go ahead.
No, good. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say what they usually do is they go through and then if you've been on it already and you want to stay on, you continue and then somebody that wants to drop off and somebody else pops on.
So facilities, if I recall, that one, Sandy and
Nope,
Or
I'm
I
not.
I mean,
Teresa and Todd, I think were on
Yeah,
it previously,
Jamie's not
and Jamie's not here now.
Mhm.
So do you want to
Somebody want to-
maintain
I'd like to continue on it.
Teresa, okay? Todd, would you
Yes.
like to continue?
Yes, I would.
Is there any other volunteers that would want to continue on or be on the facility?
I would volunteer to be on that committee.
Is there anyone else interested? Okay, so we have 3 members. I assume we'll go through and put names on, and then we'll do one vote for all of the
I
names,
think that's a good idea, yeah.
because it is one action item.
So if you get any disagreements, say them early.
Yes.
Don't get to the vote and go, I don't like one of them.
That sounds good.
Just realize that that one will be a very busy committee to be on.
It has been. And they're doing a great job.
Yeah.
Okay, finance committee, so.
I was
Sandy, you've been
on.
on it.
I've been Tracy.
So you 3, do you?
I'll
all
stay
want to
on it.
I'll stay.
Yeah.
Me too.
Okay.
When do they normally meet?
We don't have a regular meeting, and honestly, what I've been trying to do is present the information to everybody rather than just the committee, but we meet as needed.
Okay. I mean, like evenings or?
Oh,
It
Yeah.
During the
depends.
day.
It depends.
Depends,
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
later in the afternoon.
Yeah.
usually like 5, when everybody can get together.
Be nice if we could at least meet like once every month or so, though,
Mhm.
just to kind of go,
Just meet to meet.
well, just go over things.
Okay, the meet and confer committee, so that would be meeting with the teacher representatives from the Bold EA to discuss issues of mutual concern. And that's typically 1 to 2 meetings per year.
I think it's supposed to be twice a year.
Meet, confer, I thought
Yeah.
it was 3 times.
Or is it 3?
I thought it was 3.
Yeah, you might be right. We typically haven't met 3 times as far as I know, but
It's really embarrassing if you forget one.
yeah. Yep, you know.
Yeah.
So who served,
Apparently Brian was counting.
I'm on that one.
If you can get him to show up.
So of existing members, who was on that in the previous year?
Todd? were you-
Sandy was on meet and confer.
I think,
Yeah, I
it
think
I think it
I
was
was.
Sandy and
Yes,
I.
I was, because we
was-
just
yeah,
had
yeah, we were
one.
here, yeah.
Sandy and Brian is who I had.
Just Sandy and Brian?
And then Jill.
Oh, okay.
Well, I'll stay on it.
Sandy,
I'll stay on it.
okay,
Do you want one more on finance?
we can't.
We
Can't.
we're trying to leave the other 3.
Who's the third one? I have Sandy and Tracy.
Teresa and Tracy.
Oh, Teresa's the other one.
We can do it. We
Okay.
can have.
I didn't know. I thought I only had 2
Yeah.
written down, so
Um,
no problem.
And the way we've been running them, they're all posted open meetings, so the rule of 3 is nice, because then if you do need to meet, you wouldn't have to have, according to our attorney, you would not have to have a posted meeting. But once you get a quorum, you have to. If you're gonna discuss school.
Correct.
Business.
Correct, for open meeting law and so forth. Yep. I'd be willing to sit on the meet and confer.
Okay.
Um,
It's nice when they do get together, because the teachers have a lot to say, and sometimes they don't feel that the board necessarily understands what they're doing, and it's a nice way to sit down and have a more in-depth chat with them. At a board meeting, it's typically, maybe somebody might come and talk about what they've done in class, but that's all you're gonna get, so.
It's more of like a one-on-one, like it's really, I enjoyed it.
Especially when there's only one board member there.
Well, yeah. But I mean, it was very
That's what I
interesting.
mean.
I enjoyed it. Because they do come, it's a different level, like,
Mhm.
it's not like you're their boss or anything like that, like, it's
Right.
just, let's visit
Not
about
their
what's
boss.
going on and what's
Mhm.
happening. And I enjoyed it. It was very informational.
So then the next committee is negotiations, the Bold EA. Who was on that one in
I'm on
previous
it.
years?
I'm on that
Tracy
one.
And then it was Jill.
Jill.
Yeah.
And Tracy, I assume you want to?
I'll stay on it.
Yeah, I will.
I'd like to try it. I've never done that one yet. It'd be interesting to see what that one's all about, if that's okay.
I think you came and observed.
Yeah.
A couple times.
Oh, yeah, I did. I think I
Yeah.
sat
Yeah.
right there.
Okay.
Oh, I remember that.
So Teresa, Sandy, and Tracy on negotiations Bold EA. Then the next one is negotiations through the Bold AFSCME, which are the paraprofessionals, the food service, administrative assistants. Is janitorial included in that as well?
No, they're in the next.
The
they're in the next one.
custodians.
I see that.
This last year, both of them had the same, people negotiating, so I believe it was Brian and Jamie that did. Both custodial negotiation and the para food service and administrative assistant group.
So Brian and Jamie sat on that.
On both, yeah.
Brian, do you want to continue on both?
I would love to.
Okay.
It's nice to have you on both of those simply
Mhm.
because,
And you can compare out the-
Too, if that's okay.
yeah, you can do both of them at the same night.
Mhm.
Okay. Are there
I
any
wouldn't
other-
mind. I'll do that one too. I don't care.
Okay. Policy review, I would be okay not having a policy review committee since we do go through multiple readings of policies within the board meetings
Mhm.
and reviews. And would everyone agree to that?
Good call.
Yeah.
Maybe just continue that?
If we ever need to.
If it's necessary, it
So
can
we
always be.
Always assign a committee at any meeting, correct? All right, so then the Ag Advisory Committee. So I think you said last year, Todd, you were on.
I'll continue with that.
Is anyone else interested in the Ag Advisory?
It makes sense to have you on there.
Yeah, I would love to because of my love for the area. The need for, that's a big need in our district. Okay, athletic activity hearing, are there any others? Because we have two right now. Anyone else interested?
You have to be named Todd though to do it.
Yeah, or just have to start with a T.
So we may have to go by member Sheehan and Frank. And
Question for you on that one though, what does that all entail on the egg one?
Typically, in the past, they've met no more than 6 times a year, and it's like an hour meeting, and it's going through giving advice on where the district might need to pursue curriculum to in the ag space and in the tech space, as well as helping provide support to the FFA program for identifying individuals to help with CDE contests and for the kids, and so that they learn parliamentary procedure. Maybe the wildlife team might need some additional coaching to help identify members in the community to give support to come in and help with coaching and volunteer. So there's multiple areas. Also help go out and seek and get donations and other things that might be needed to help in the space in the community, which has been done in the past as well. Is anyone else interested?
I think I'd like to, I'm a farm girl, so I think I'd like to just explore that this year to see what that one's like.
Okay. The next one then, athletic and activity hearings. And our previous members were whoing.
I've done that before.
Just Tracy, I think, was listed.
Just Tracy?
Yeah.
I'll do it again.
You want to continue?
So what do they do for that?
If something comes up.
There's been one time in the 6 years that I've done it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's the
I
only
think
one
we were
can
both
think
on
of.
it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Where there was just a conflict between coach and athlete that couldn't be resolved, and
Mhm.
so then the committee sits in and helps develop a solution.
Brian, do you want to?
Yep, I'll be on that too.
Okay. Anyone else interested?
I could be on that one.
Val, you-
Right.
Okay. Book review, we have not highlighted, but that's one, again, we could
Mhm.
forego at this point in time and then assign as needed if
Well,
the need arises.
This is probably maybe later during this meeting, but I think it's a worthy thing to at least go through the books at the library, because there's just a few that I red flagged for whatever reason I think should be looked at, but I think it's worth going through them.
Okay, so Teresa, I assume you want to serve on book review or?
Not this year, because I went through front and back pages of a stack of all the books in the library. I went through every single one of them. I'd like to pass it on to someone else because it was very time consuming.
Okay, anyone else interested?
Like the ones I kept here, like 195 pages front and back. I'm full of books.
Well, I'd be willing to serve on that, but I would want your advice on where.
Okay, all right.
I think what happens is
We'll
if
do that.
if there's a question over a book, then that committee gets together.
Mhm.
We have a policy on how to go through a book review.
Mhm.
I don't remember which policy number that is, but there's a procedure for contesting a book. And
I was just going to bring it to attention. It wasn't like I was contesting, but I think it should be brought forward. And I was never given that policy, so I didn't know that either.
I found Amy and I were talking about it.
Okay.
not that long ago.
So I'll do it again if you want to come alongside and do it too.
Yeah,
That's fine.
I'll do it and then I'll put you on as well then. Okay. Community Ed Advisory Committee would be the next one.
What do they do on that one then?
I think
Because I
that one
think I've
meets
been on
about
it,
once
but
a
I
month.
never,
They always meet at max about once a month. I
Yeah,
think.
they just met today. I think they're doing 4 times a year now.
Oh, do they?
They do two live, 2 Zoom. Today was a Zoom meeting.
because I think I was on that one and nobody's ever invited me.
I'm on that one, and they always meet at noon, and that just does not work for me at all.
Who else
Was
is
I on there maybe?
Mm.
I had Todd Sheehan on there.
I thought I was on there.
It's listed on my sheet.
Noon doesn't work for me either. So
Noon
I don't
doesn't work for
remember
me
getting
either.
an invitation.
I could make that work because I can get away for lunch 4 times a year. So I would be willing to serve on there. Anyone else interested?
Are you doing it again?
I was on it. Nobody ever invites me, so I guess
Was
it's kind of.
Cindy on there?
I didn't have her listed. What I have is just Sheehan and then Sigadol, which is old, but
Oh,
that's what
Well,
I
that
have.
is-
Yeah, because I
that's-
think I put my name down, but
So Sandy, you want to serve?
yeah,
on
I'll
that?
do it. Oh, I mean, I wouldn't mind.
Okay.
So who all meets on this, or who is it?
Well, there's
that all
like
meets on
Corey
this?
Eiler and
Yeah, Corey
Derek
was there.
Flynn, Derek Flynn.
Derek,
It's mostly community members.
mhm.
yeah, the vast majority. Lindsay Long's on it. Mayor sits on it. Well, I should say Mayor Hawkinson's on it. I don't know if the other district or other community mayors are part of it.
Is Lindsay through the Y now?
No,
No, Lindsay Long is with, I'm sorry,
ECFE.
Lindsay Rangel
Okay,
is with ECFE, yeah.
that makes sense.
I wonder, someone from the Y should be on there
Yeah,
probably.
they should be like
Probably
an ex officio member.
Yeah.
Liz Fisher
I
maybe?
think there is. Oh, yes, yeah, Liz Fisher is on it, yeah.
I would
She wasn't
think-
there today because she couldn't talk, so.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah, I wouldn't mind.
Letta Jacobs,
Well, Letta was there.
Steve Flynn, Corey Eiler, Lindsay Rangel, Jackie Edwards, Tracy Johnson,
Jeff Philippek.
Johnny Hawk, myself, Jim Minton, Jeff F., Stacy Lagerquist, Jessica B., and Missy F.
All right.
Okay. Comparable worth / pay equity. I'm not sure what that committee has done in the past.
We haven't had anybody on there. That was just making, it was a way to have people going out, making sure that we're not paying more to men than women or more to white people than black people or things like that.
Okay. So I would assume that we're essentially under the negotiations committee covering our bases
Bases,
Yeah.
with that. And we don't need to fill members, but again, we can always add a committee if we need to. Continuing education. How is that different than community education?
Continuing Ed's works with the staff members who need to further their education to keep licensed. Not sure why that was ever a board thing, but
I would say that could fall under, in my mind, that would fall back under the meet and confer, and
it certainly could.
yes.
Sounds good.
Okay. Family and Consumer Science Advisory Committee, Facts Advisory Committee.
This is almost identical to the Ag Advisory Committee. Amy, who was on
On the facts one, Tracy.
Really?
Congratulations.
Just doesn't really seem like my
They didn't
area of expertise.
They didn't invite you either, did they?
They must not have.
They must
They
have
knew.
heard about your skills.
Again, we're required, it's a CTE course. And with any CTE course, you have to have an advisory group from the board and not just from the board, but like the Ag Advisory. It's a bunch of people.
If somebody else wants it, by all means, otherwise I will stay on. It does not matter.
Doesn't sound like a lot of work.
Stay on.
I'll split the work with you. I'll
All
sit
right.
on it too,
Sounds
Tracy.
good. Why don't you let me know when they meet?
Or don't.
Okay. Little Crow Telemedia, who were our members last year?
And
I
Jill
feel
was on
like Jill
that.
did that.
Yeah.
I don't know what that was. I can't
So Little
remember.
Crow Telemedia Network is where we get all of our fiber internet. And they meet monthly or so.
Was it monthly?
What's that?
Was it monthly?
Every other month, maybe? I don't know. I go to more meetings that I haven't seen any other, I don't think I ever saw Jill there. I haven't seen the meetings that I go to. I don't think I ever see any other board members from any other school districts there
When are they typically held?
during the day.
During the day?
Yeah. If somebody's really interested in technology and that's like their thing, otherwise, I don't know that we need to fill it.
Unless we need to fill it.
Unless we need to fill it.
Sounds good.
If I find out differently, we'll just bring it to the January board meeting. And
Okay.
So I'll mark that as we're not filling for now. The Minnesota School Board Association Legislative Network, who served on that one last year? I'm assuming.
Jacobs and Hanson.
The thing with the legislative stuff now with MSBA is they send it out to you constantly, so we all have access
Get
to
it.
it.
Mhm.
yeah, and that's a good point. I think a lot of these do go back to when
It was
it was
paper.
hard to get information, and that's why probably a lot of these committees do exist. Just keep in mind, a committee exists to do something for the board that the entire board doesn't have the ability to do or isn't worth the entire board's time to do. So,
Or to report to the board.
and so that they do something and then bring it to the board and say, this is what we recommend you do, and then explain why, and then the board typically just says, okay, yeah, we'll do that.
And I would be my assumption that a item brought to the board through the legislative network would be on our agenda and in the open meetings, so.
Yep. And things going on in the legislature. It was big for Mr. Bransoy because he was big into that part of it, and
Yeah. Well,
just to stay abreast on what was going on in the legislature.
this isn't so much when the state's telling us what to do. It's more how we tell the state what we think they should be doing. but it's so simple. All of these groups now have a link, fill this out. Like, here's some pre-written statement. You can modify it, how you see fit. Type your name in here and it gets sent to the person that should hear it. So you'll all get that stuff periodically.
So that one can stay open, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Sounds good.
So the consensus is we will not fill that
Right
committee
now,
for
yeah.
now. Okay. Okay, the Minnesota State High School League Committee.
Who was that, Amy? Was that Brian? You on that?
I've done it.
Was Todd on
Todd and Brian.
I'll stay on it then.
I will if Todd will.
Sure.
Brian, do you want to stay on it?
I would love to work with Todd on that.
Thank you. Any other member interested in serving on the Minnesota State High School League? Okay. MREA. I don't
That's
even know what the acronym even
that? The
stands for.
Minnesota Rural Education Association.
Yep.
They're a pretty impressive group, and they stand up for the needs of rural Minnesota, and we benefit tremendously from the work that they do at the state level. In fact, they've got a really good conference every year in end of November, I think, that would be really well worth attending. But we haven't really had anybody on that committee.
And we're paid members as
We
a
are.
school district to the MREA.
Yeah, I don't know what percentage of rural districts are a member, but I would guess a vast majority are.
I guess I would be willing to serve on that.
Okay.
Since I'm chair, I think it would be important that we have that links to the MREA.
Sounds good.
In fact, the guy who leads it, I believe, used to be a principal in Rhode Island. I can't think of his name.
It's fun that of it.
No, or maybe it was here in Olivia. I'll think of it.
Staff development, so that one is not highlighted at this point.
What do you do for that?
I think
I honestly don't know why that's a committee. The teachers have their own staff development committee that does pretty good work putting together staff development needs. I suppose at a district level, you're just making sure that every year we set aside, is it 2% of our general fund to go towards professional development, and when like that pays for me to go to a conference, or it pays for teachers to go to a conference, or when the paras had a training that pays for them to do that, or any group. So
Is it something that needs a committee?
I don't know why it would.
Okay.
We haven't.
I'm wondering if we could have those conversations in the meet and confer.
Yeah, meeting first just with the teachers, but certainly,
Yeah,
I mean, staff development is important. I'm not saying that.
that's true. So then we're not getting all the staff.
Right. I would say between Brett and me, we do a pretty good job of making sure people are getting training. I don't think we've ever turned down any training requests before, and we're always trying to find things for different groups to do. And Margaret takes the food service staff to this boot camp every year, at the beginning of the year. I don't know why they call it boot camp, but it sounds terrible, but they really like it. They go to another school district and just learn how to do new stuff.
So basically, each department head kind of says, this is what I think would be good for us,
Yeah.
and we would like to do this. They put in a request to you and say, hey, Mr. Minton, we've got this idea, we want to go to this whatever conference, whatever, and that's how.
Yeah, in fact, most of them go through Mr. Benson, so.
So realistically, we probably wouldn't need that
No,
because,
I don't think we need.
No.
We've never met.
I mean, as a board, in all honesty, our biggest thing we can do for staff development is set policy and support staff so that they can go in and work with the administration to get the development they need and work through. So I would say, yeah, you're gonna lead that committee. Okay, the career and technical education committee.
Yeah, so who was on that?
Tracy?
You did a good job with that.
Thank
We
you.
have never been more technical here.
You guys are welcome.
So, I'm not sure why this is separate from the Facts Advisory Committee or the Ag Advisory Committee.
Yeah.
If we have to have that, then I'll pull from those two groups and say who wants to do this. But when you think about career and tech ed, that's the hands-on stuff that we talk about. That's Rob Vanderhagen. That's
Robotics.
we get a lot of when a teacher is CTE certified, we get about 30% of their salary paid when they're working on CTE, teaching CTE classes. The idea behind that is that by us levying CTE money, you'll see that on your truth and taxation line. The theory is that we now have extra funds available that we could maybe purchase a new welding machine or a stove or bigger ticket items that might not normally be able to be purchased. I don't know why it's separate though.
So I think we should assign someone because I believe our strategic plan has.
That's a good point. Excellent.
Points about career and technical education as well as educational opportunities.
Yeah.
And I think it sets the tone as a board that we feel it's important in our district. And we just put people on.
I'll be on it.
And I would be willing to be on that one as well. Any other member of the board?
I'll do it. Oh, go ahead.
I'll be on.
Okay.
Okay, the tech committee, which is not highlighted. So I would assume that would be technology for the
Yeah.
district.
Yep.
And work with Neil.
If you'd like to be a part of that, we meet at 3:00, 3:10, I think, on the same Monday that we have board meetings. Neil does a really good job of heading that up. And they're doing a really, really good job of getting a plan put together, a scope and sequence where, so we know that when a kid is done with, say, third grade, we'll know that means they're able to, cut and paste images on an iPad and paste them into a Google Doc, or it just goes through every level of tech usage. And so that's an example of something that this committee is doing. That way, when a kid's a junior and a teacher says, well, I'd like you to write an essay. Well, we know that they learn essay writing in 9th grade. We know that they have keyboarding skills. If a teacher wanted to say in this essay, I want you to include some pictures or a graph or whatever, that they can do that knowing that the kid has that level of expertise simply by being whatever grade they're in.
Mm-hmm.
And likewise, if you're teaching 7th grade, you're going to know, well, they haven't learned how to make Excel graphs yet or things like that. But we haven't had a board member. Again, if you're jazzed about technology, jazzed as the kids say nowadays, go for it. But we haven't had anyone on there in a long time.
because of the time to meet, I would be willing, but I'm pretty sure I would not make but half the meetings.
That's fine. Like I say, we haven't had anyone.
It's been doing all right.
Okay, so we'll forego that one at this point of deciding someone. The next then would be pairing and sharing. Who was the previous members on the committee? from last
Sandy
week?
and Teresa.
Mhm.
Do you want to both continue on?
Well, I would, but we didn't really have any meat. What,
Yeah, I think the last time we did something that was really pairing and sharing was we had our entire board there and met with the BLHS board, and we talked about ways to,
Maybe integrate classes.
things like that.
Other things.
Just use each other's resources. I think it's something where the superintendents discuss things together, and if it's something that
I don't know why it's necessary.
I like that we all went. We just was,
Everybody has ideas and everybody's welcome to bounce ideas off people. Typically, stuff like this happens at the superintendent level or principal level. And then we bring it back to the board and say, hey, we'd like to do this. We did I don't know what the level of the board was, but like when we did the class at the hospital about 4 or 5 years ago, we teamed with that with BLHS, the medical careers class, and there was another one. But I don't know why you need a committee to do that.
So I'm wondering with just the current climate of shortages for teachers, paras, and other places, if this would be one we do want to assign, and then we have something in place to maybe get some initial discussions with some other boards to try to find some synergies or look for areas that we can mutually benefit our district and their district.
I guess I can only assume, but I would assume that all districts are already doing that. They've already got their networks to work together to do it. Everybody knows it's a problem. It's a problem everywhere. I don't think we would be reinventing the wheel by having a group that, I think they're doing it. I think they're
meet
talking.
every other week with all of the area superintendents, and this is the kind of thing we talk about, so.
Okay. So are we willing to forgo this committee then at this point?
I like being on it myself, and I wouldn't mind visiting with other
I wouldn't either.
districts. I have no problem with that.
Going and
Collaborating and
visiting
getting
with-
ideas.
On a board level, maybe the board, couple of.
So then what the board would do is say, we would like you guys to go to or contact somebody, another district, and see what they're doing.
Absolutely.
Report back.
Yep. Okay. So
I'll stay on.
Sandy, Teresa, I'd be willing to serve on that as well. And then wellness committee, and what is the responsibility on the wellness committee?
Well, I think we have to have a wellness committee. I know at the school level, we have to have a wellness committee. Do we have to have a board member on there?
That I'm not 100% sure on.
I mean, if that's somebody's thing, go ahead. They typically meet, Margaret kind of runs the part of it, the food part of it. I don't know why I haven't met with them.
I don't remember having a meeting.
Who was on that one before?
Tracy?
I think I was on it at one time too,
Yeah.
but they just, when they meet, just didn't work out. It was usually a school
I don't
time.
remember, I didn't go to any meetings last year. I've been to meetings before, but I didn't get invited. But I'll stay on it.
Okay, perfect. Brian, you want to be on there too?
Find out when they meet. If they meet during the day, then no, I don't want to be on it.
Otherwise, I could.
Kelly?
Ally,
Put all three of them.
I'll put your name down, Brian, and then.
Sounds great. If it works, it works.
And then the final one is culture committee. which is not highlighted. And I would assume that that's when we're not obligated to.
No, certainly not. But it's, again, that's sort of, if that's something that drives you, you should be part of that. I don't, again, the committee does something for the board. So the board is gonna task them with, we'd like you to work with the principal and or the administration to see what we can do to improve the culture of the school, which is
So to me, that would be,
certainly important. It would fall right into our strategic plan.
it'd fall, so maybe, what if we approach it from this scenario? We have the meet and confer, so with the teaching staff, maybe we could have a similar culture committee, but that could be with any other staff other than teaching, so that we have those communications and open it up to have those interactions with
It's a good idea.
food service staff, with custodians, with paras.
It does fall right in line with our district strategic plan.
Yeah. So I would be willing to serve on that.
I would,
Sandy, you said you would,
sure.
I can join you.
okay? All right,
Gotta stop volunteering.
I'll just go through, name the committee and who's volunteered, and then I'll entertain a motion for that. So the current nominations to school board committees are facilities, Jacobs, Sheehan, Johnson. To finance, Benson, Jacobs, Buchtel. Meet and confer, Benson, Bowen, Frank. Negotiations, bold EA would be Buchtel, Benson, Jacobs. Negotiations to the bold AFSCME, Bowen, Jacobs, Benson. Negotiations, the bold AFSCME custodians would be Bowen, Jacobs, and Benson. Ag Advisory Committee would be members Sheehan, Frank, Jacobs. Athletic Activity Hearings would be members Buchtel, Bowen, Johnson. Book Review would be members Frank and Jacobs. Community Education Advisory Committee would be members Frank and Benson. The Facts Advisory Committee would be members Buchtel and Frank. Little Crow not filling that one, sorry. The Minnesota State High School League would be members Sheehan and Bowen. The MREA would be member Frank. Career and Technical Education would be members Bowen, Frank, and Sheehan. Then the Parent and Sharing would be members Benson, Jacobs, and Frank. And the Wellness Committee would be members Buchtel, Johnson, and Bowen. And then the Culture Committee would be members Frank, Benson, and Johnson. Is there a motion to approve that?
Do we need somebody on the pool board,
That's the facilities.
facilities? I saw it
So,
said, I saw it said sub for it, but is just one of them their main person for the pool board and one is a sub?
So, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What is the deal with the pool board? I was thinking it was just whoever was on the facilities committee was on the pool board.
I was always a sub,
Yeah, I
but I
know.
wasn't a member
So
or part of the committee.
I was on the pool board.
Yeah, so you went to most of the meetings. You went to a couple of sub. Jamie was at most of them.
I wasn't last year at all.
But wasn't, but
Todd,
you were the facilities committee, right?
yes,
So I think just pick
Two of them go.
two go and
I'll be a sub. I'd rather not.
stay a sub, yeah.
Yeah, I'll be a sub.
Pool board meetings, they're good. Tracy usually gets like steak pizza or something.
Yeah, they got good food there.
Todd, you do it, and Ally, do you want to do it? Okay.
You're free pass. You can swim and everything.
Okay, so then on the
That's for
pool
lunch.
board, one more addition to the motion would be to add a pool board with members Sheehan, Johnson, and sub of Jacobs. So I need a motion to amend the committees to add the pool board of Sheehan, Johnson with Jacobs as a sub.
I'll make that motion.
So second on the amendment.
I'll second.
So we'll vote on the amendment to add the pool board of Sheehan, Johnson, and Jacobs. That's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Okay, if hearing none, we'll vote on the addition. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Okay, motion carries for the amendment. So now we'll vote on the school board committees with the added pool board that we just added. So all in favor, or is there any discussion first? Above and beyond. Okay, hearing none, then we'll vote on that. So all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Okay, the school board committees are set, and that motion passes. All right, we are now on number E, set meal allowances. So set the meal allowance and reimbursement rates for 2023. The rate would be $44 per day for a full day meal allowance, reimbursable up to $44 even. And receipts are required for reimbursement, and I believe tax and tips are not included in that
That's correct.
policy. Is there a motion for that?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to set the meal allowance rate for $44 per day, with receipts required for reimbursement. Any discussion?
It doesn't really say it. I think everybody understands it, but this is for when you go to a conference, not just like every day of the year.
Any other discussion? Or clarification? Okay, hearing none, we'll vote on that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The meal allowances are set. Item F, approved signatures for school checks. So authorization to pick up the night depository money, access to the safety deposit box, and authorization to make collateral adjustments for the period of January 1st, 2023 through December 31st, 2023. So for finance, payroll checks, flex accounts, and activity accounts, the signatures required would be the board chair, the board treasurer, and the board clerk. For petty cash, the signatures required could be superintendent, business manager, and assistant business manager. I assume this is all ands, not ors? And or?
These are ours.
Ors.
Yeah.
Okay, so superintendent, business manager, or assistant business manager. On the trust account, superintendent or business manager or assistant business manager. On the night depository, the treasurer or superintendent or business manager or assistant business manager or activities director. On the safety deposit box, the treasurer, superintendent, business manager, assistant business manager, or activities director. And finally, collateral adjustments, the superintendent, business manager, or assistant business manager. Is there a motion to approve those signatures?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, Bowen seconded the motion. So it has been moved by member Sheehan and seconded by member Bowen to approve the signatures. As previously mentioned, is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The nays? Motion carries. Okay, moving on to item G. Approve designation of official school depository accounts. So for school finance, would be Hometown Bank of Olivia. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the designation of the official school depository account with Hometown Bank of Olivia for school finance. Is there any discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Item H, designate financial institutions for investment purposes for the period of January 1st, 2023 through December 31st of 2023. One would be Franzen Bank and Trust. The second would be FM Bank, Minnesota of Olivia. And the third would be Hometown Bank of Olivia. The fourth would be Citizens Alliance Bank. The fifth would be MSDLAF Plus, and the remaining is PMA.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
So the motion was made by Bowen and seconded by Member Bucktel. Is there any discussion?
Yes, does PMA stand for put in my account?
I think PMA.
Just being silly. No, what is it? What is PMA?
If you weren't laughing, I'm like,
Just kidding. I mean, seriously though, what is PMA?
that's the retirement, isn't it? Or, I'm not positive.
I am not 100% sure. I could look up the exact term of it. It's public something, but it's where they put, we have like, so it's insured, how all our dollar funds can be insured. They have like this investment account that goes in, so.
Okay.
So
I
no,
can find it out for you if you'd like.
it's a negative.
Gosh darn it.
I remember the same question came up last year. And
It was probably me.
probably, we'll find it out. Want to email that out?
I will find it and email it.
Okay. So
Thank you.
your questions satisfied getting?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, perfect. Is there any other discussion? Okay, hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. So all in favor of designating the listed institutions for our designated finances for investment purposes, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. That is approved. And then finally on item I, approve our designation for an official radio station. So from January 1st, 2023 through December 31st of 2023, designate K100 Big Country 100.1 FM out of Olivia as our official radio station.
So moved, Buchtel.
Second.
So motion by Buchtel and a second by Johnson. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? The motion carries. And then moving on to number 2 under new business, after the organizational items, that would be approving the recruitment of a student success interventionist. And you can look at proposal number 3. So an action is asked for.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
So it has been moved and seconded. Moved by member Buckfield and seconded by member Johnson.
We've been talking about this. We've been talking about this for a while, and Brett is not he's not going to be asking for something like this that isn't needed. This is a person that can be working with a lot of kids that we don't have special support for. These aren't necessarily, they could be, but they're not necessarily special ed kids. They're not, a lot of them are those kind of CD students that just kind of fall through the cracks because they don't have that kind of support. Something you don't see when you are, when you're not here in the daily grind is COVID has really been tough on kids. And nobody feels it because nobody knows what it would feel like. But for those of us that have been around watching kids year after year, they're not back to normal. And the reason that we were given a lot of these ESSER funds was to do some innovative programming like this. I thought Brett has put in a lot of data that he shared with you in the packet. Hopefully you got a chance to go through that. But this would be a real nice way to get somebody that can be out there working one-on-one with a lot of these kids. I think it addresses a need that is definitely there.
I think that's what the ESSER dollars were for, and that was to try to help get our students back on track. And it's something we can use them for, even though people know that it's only for a limited time. You can use it.
And I'm glad you said that, because Brett and I were talking about this today. And something he mentioned to me that I hadn't even thought about is that, when we lost Brenda doing our title math, we haven't been able to find anyone to do that for 2 years. And so we're getting more kids they're not getting that direct math instruction. The reading is doing fine. We're happy with reading right now because we've got somebody working with those kids. If we were to hire somebody to do this, it would be a very easy thing to do to slide them into that title position if we felt that they were a good fit. At the last meeting, somebody said something about, it's a great job interview. Did you say that?
I wasn't there.
Somebody, I thought,
I skipped the last
I might be making it up, but it would be a good job interview. Basically, you get a year or two, year and a half, I guess, if we were to find someone today. And to be able to say, yeah, you know what, this position is going away, but we think you'd be a great fit to fill in here. And just recruiting any staff is getting extremely difficult. Getting teachers in particular is, we're nervous. We know of, well, Amy, you've got how many jobs do you have posted?
I have to post 14.
So 14 positions.
Now,
Well,
most of those are tier 1 teachers, so the requirement is that we post those jobs every year. But we lost a special ed teacher a few years ago who was a tiered teacher. And when we posted the job, she said, "You mean this isn't guaranteed?" And we said, "Well, technically, no." So, yeah, she took a job elsewhere, and that was just that's because of that silly requirement that you have to post those jobs. It made sense when you would get a stack of applications. There were a time where we'd go through applications, and if there was a spelling error, you'd be like, "Oh, you're on that pile now." And I think all employers are seeing that. You're willing to ignore a lot of stuff. I'm starting to just ramble on here, but this would be a good way to be able to take a look at someone for a couple of years and say, yeah, you know what, you would fit in great here, or thanks for your 2 years. But this is about helping kids that aren't getting that special one-on-one help that this could provide.
If you do something like this, can we do that contract employee where we contract them so we're not locked into all the extras that go with it later? Because it's hard to get rid of somebody.
Well,
Yeah,
you could do whatever you wanted.
I just figure if it's,
We'd like to find a licensed teacher, and taking away incentives to work isn't probably the best way to recruit an employee. But we don't have anybody that is applying for this. We don't have anybody in mind to do this. But again, we would like to hire a licensed teacher to do this if possible. If it comes out that we can't find a licensed teacher, then yeah, we would modify that somehow. We have the ability to modify it.
When I was looking this over, I was just floored with the amount of students when they're talking about the disciplinary violations, and then the students that are getting D's and F's. I mean, in some grades, they're 50% of the kids. It's just unbelievable. So my question is that can one person assume the working with them to get their grades up and do the disciplinary violations? Or is that a two-people job, a two-person job? And so my question is, with the SRR funds, something to think about, what if we would use those SR funds for an after-school program, implement that, and then maybe go for a levy for a position? And maybe it has to be two people and just go out for levy, because the kids are hurting now. We can't wait. And if it's this bad, I mean, I couldn't believe it. We're talking.
If we can't wait, how can we do a levy to do it, to get the monies to hire this person and not have to be waiting?
Well, get the levy sooner. Levy's different than a bond. Can't we go for a levy?
We'd have to, like a referendum.
Okay, so I
would
get
have
those
to be-
little mixed up.
Yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah.
I know you can go to the community and get money to help that has nothing to do with building.
Right, so an operating levy needs to be voted and approved by in the election.
Right. But to get just maybe I'm using the wrong term, but going back to the taxpayers and for like an emergency type thing, is there such a deal where we can go out and ask for monies, tell them we're going to use our SR funds because the students are hurting, we need to use that now, implement that after school program, but then get some monies in so we could probably maybe hire two positions, one for disciplinary to help, and then another one for the academic portion, because when you're looking at 103 students out of a total of 220 from grades 5 through 9 that are getting D's and F's, that's huge. That's huge.
Yeah, and when we're talking discipline, this is just like, okay, you get a detention. That's not somebody that's working with these kids to try to figure out a way to better themselves so they're not getting into that kind of trouble. I guess we certainly could look at that. The reason we have the ESSER funds is to do exactly what you're saying. Let's get this program going right now.
Which you could do with the after school.
And we are going to do it. I talked with Brett again today about that. We're doing an after school homework help that we did the same thing last year. And certainly if it is working, that's when these funds go away, that's absolutely when we would need to say, okay, well, what are we going to do? Are we going to ask the public? Hopefully we can ask the public, because we'll have some data to show that what we've been doing has indeed made a difference. That's the other thing with this is if you hire someone and then if things get worse, well, then I don't think that would happen, but then you don't go for a levy for something, then you try something different.
The thing that worries me is, all these school days the kids are already missing. There's no way they can miss too many more just by e-learning. They lose out a lot on e-learning. We need to go back to that distance learning where at least the teacher's in front of them and teaching them, because I think these kids get home and they go, oh, e-learning, I'll do my own homework. No, whatever, I'm going to go watch TV for a while.
Yeah.
Because they're not made to be in front of that teacher.
Yeah.
It's, if you have a question, give it to me. Send me a question. Well, that's really not, to me, that's not on one-on-one, and that's not going to keep the kids engaged. So this here scares me on any more e-learning days we have. We need to be looking at something more.
Are we
For the
working on
kids too.
this?
Let's-
Let's take care of this.
Okay.
But no, I'm just saying, this is part of it. I mean, you look at these numbers,
Yeah.
this is all part of what he's trying to accomplish here.
What I'd like to mention too is just last week during one of the e-learning days, I was babysitting some of my grandkids and two of them had e-learning that day. And I got educated on how hard it is to keep kids focused e-learning. There were two of them. And I'm thinking typically they go to daycare, but since they had a sick sibling, I went over there as grandma to help with the sick one, but then help these other two. And I'm just like, it was a struggle just to keep them focused. The TV was off just to keep them doing their stuff. And I'm an attentive grandmother.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine if they would have been at daycare, how the daycare mom, what she's got, how many kids is even going to take the time to help. And a lot of these parents.
And that's how hard it is for the teacher that's seeing them through a TV and now trying to also wrangle them. It's not good. I'm not saying e-learning is good at all. it's better than absolutely nothing. And, but, I mean, I have teachers that contacted me and said, we don't like e-learning at all. Let's do snow days and just have everybody make them up. And I'm fine with that. We used to build in snow days to our calendar, but I think this is a different discussion though. I think
Yeah.
It's a different
Yeah.
discussion.
Right.
Completely.
Getting off track. So I guess I have one question. The recommendation was for grade levels 5 through 9, but the form had K through 12 on it. I assume that we would still allow K through 12 to fill out the form, but the preference would be given through grades 5 through 9.
So this farm you're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah. So this actually serves a couple purposes. This would refer a kid to a team that is looking at them. Maybe they've got some problems in a classroom that this group can then focus on that, a plan for that kid as to how they may be able to be more successful. And then after a month or two, if that's not working, then they actually get referred for special ed. And that's actually a requirement of the special ed process. So this team does two different things. So yeah, this person is just focusing on 5 through 9.
And then my other question is the actual contact time of student with staff is approximately 30 hours per week, I believe.
Yeah, I suppose.
So if you look at, say, the 90 individuals that were listed in table 1, and say the individual makes contact with all 90, you're looking at about 20 minutes a week with a student. Is it? And I assume maybe a student might need a little more, some may not.
But a lot of these aren't necessarily one-on-one. You might have
Yeah.
5 kids sitting down. That's one of like Tom Cruise does that at lunch with kids. He'll just sit down with a whole bunch of them, not necessarily academic stuff, but works with a big group of kids, and that's definitely a way to work on these things as well.
Okay.
So it's not necessarily one-on-one with each kid.
But even like in table 1, where it shows the 103 students with the Ds and Fs, is 20 minutes a week per student, is that enough? I'm just asking.
Yeah, no,
I don't know. It's like, because that's,
Probably not, but I'll be honest, we're gonna be lucky to find one person to do this. People aren't knocking down the door. If you want to get a job right out of college, go get a teacher's license, you'll get hired.
would it make more sense to turn this into the ESSER funds instead of doing the one person, just to put it into after-school program? And,
We're also doing that.
well, does that use up our ESSER funds too then? The after-
Through ESSER funds, yeah.
Okay.
I think it's a start. We got to do something.
Didn't we have this in the motion last meeting?
Your motion was to post the position, and then we would discuss it at this meeting.
So it's been posted.
Did it get posted?
Did not because of the snowstorm.
Yeah. We're working on a lot of posts.
Oh, okay. I'm just,
No, I'm working on a lot.
the motion was just for Mr. Benson to get all this advertising ready.
Okay.
What are some of the other schools doing? Have you checked? It'd be fun to
A
find
lot of
out.
them are doing things like this. I think at the last meeting, I think I mentioned McCray.
Yep.
Yeah, you said that.
Yeah. Now they got really lucky. They found a retired counselor from, I want to say Owatonna, that area. And she's been fantastic working. Last year she was working with families. And it went over really well because she wasn't like the nosy neighbor saying, you need to change this in your house. It was a I hate to say older person, but a very experienced person who people, since they're not from your own town, they must be an expert. So they listen to it.
With the after-school program, are they students required, that is like you don't have an option, you're required to
You know,
go
I'm
to
not
this?
sure on that.
Okay, I was just curious.
I don't believe they're necessarily required. We certainly can require them. So,
Especially if they want to pass the grade, because if this is midterms already.
yeah, and that's something to consider too, is in like in 7th and 8th grade, if you fail 3 of your 4 classes, you don't advance to the next grade level. And every year, there's kids that think that that's a joke, and then now they're in class with their little brother.
Yeah, fun.
That happens.
Is there any further discussion on the motion? All right, we're gonna proceed to vote then if there's no further discussion. So, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. We approve the recruitment of a student success interventionist. Okay, an announcement of upcoming dates. So we have our regular school board meeting at 7 p.m. on January 23rd, 2023 here in this room. And that is the only upcoming date other than the school board convention this week, starting on Tuesday evening for Ellie and myself, but then on Thursday morning for the rest of the board. Who are attending.
Again, Wednesday, we'll look at getting together for a dinner if anybody wants to. Last year we did that. And you guys were sick. weren't you?
Yeah, I had
You had
COVID.
Or not that
20,
sick, but-
21 days I had that.
But
I know, I didn't
Todd,
make
you
it
were there
last
last year. It was a good time. And Brian and was Jill there? Who else?
It wasn't there, Jamie was there.
Wasn't there like some inclement weather that you had to come home early too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I remember.
Okay. So we will, I'll entertain a motion to move to a closed session with members Owen, Johnson, Buckle, Benson, Jacobs, and Sheehan, and Mr. Menton, adjourning our regular meeting at 8:34 p.m. and moving to the closed session.
So,
Amy will be in there too.
so moved.
Second.
Who moved it? Who made
I moved it.
Brian, so Bowen moved and,
Had to try to beat you.
sorry,
First motion.
and then Jacob seconded. Okay, it's been moved and seconded to adjourn and move to closed session. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We'll
We take
take
5.
5 minutes so that
That sounds
students
good.
can get things signed and the
Bathroom break if anyone needs it.
You guys picked a good one tonight. Lucky you.
Exciting, wasn't it?
Have to get this filled out.
Of course.